Welcome to SEOConspiracy.com. This is your weekly alternative news about all things search related. Paid, organic, white, black hat, digital marketing, everything that I came across and that I thought was worth sharing with you. But first, let's get close and personal. Let me share what's going on with SEO Conspiracy. We started a couple of months ago with one content every Monday with my friend Dixon Jones, myth busting. One myth, one urban legend at a time, every Monday, 7 a.m. GMT. We debunk all those nonsense that we've been witnessing since we both started him a little bit earlier than me, but it's been a while, okay? 2004 in my case, and for Dixon in the 90s. Then I'm starting a weekly news review every Tuesday. You are watching it right now. Every Wednesday, we're going to do something different with some very special guest. It's called SEO Stories. It's time to record our history, and we're going to tell all the good and bad about the world of SEO. Every Thursday, I'm giving out for free my whole strategy. That's where next week, I'm going to make a big announcement. Watch out. Next Thursday, be there. It's going to be big, okay? And Friday, we're going to have question and answers where I'm going to answer all the various questions that I get since 2004, but even still today. And on weekends, we're going to freestyle some live audits, some live also Q&A. Whatever comes up, some live podcast, but yeah, weekends, mostly live or long format content. So now, what you want to do is you want to go to SEOConspiracy.com and you want to subscribe to the newsletter. This is the reason why. I'm going to document my journey into building the perfect website. What I call the topical mesh is a complete strategy going from high-class, high-level content marketing that deserves to be talked about, that deserves to get links organically, okay, respecting the Google guidelines, being the best at what you can be as far as producing content. I've been doing this for a while. I've done it before. I can do it again. We're going to build a very strong advanced SEO semantic layer. Semantic SEO, topical mesh, that's the base of the strategy. We're going to do, again, everything around SEO as far as content marketing, but also we are going the Black Hat route, okay? Private links network, that's my game. That's what I think is the best link building strategy on top of the rest, on top of the content marketing, all that. But I'm telling you everything like it is. I'm telling you how to win the game, how to be the best SEO or the best digital marketer in the world. And this newsletter is going to be my personal diary, personal journal. I'm going to share every week my path into building this strategy that I just started a couple of months ago, and I haven't even built the SEO layer. So I decided this is the time, this is the perfect time to document my journey, to document step by step everything that I will do. And that's going to happen through email. Okay, that's the only place where you're going to have access to this personal journal, my step-by-step documentation of and real time, okay? And maybe I'm gonna fail. Maybe you'll watch me fail, watch me quit, or succeed. Who knows? We're gonna go with a target. First goal, 1 year. It's starting Thursday, and 1 year from now we'll meet again, and we're gonna go for round 2, year 2, year 3. We have a 5-year plan. 1 year plan plus 4 more years. So yes, you want to embark on this journey, my friend, and it's free. And I invite you to spy on the best content marketer, SEO, black, white, whatever. It's going to be fun. It's going to happen in the newsletter, so go get it. Now, let's do the news. And we got to be quick because there's a lot to cover. First, on Twitter, Tom Waddington. I don't know Tom, but thank you for sharing this. Very interesting. In the knowledge graph, in the address, we see a little note, owner J. Cunningham on Facebook.com, meaning that Google got into Facebook to pull that data. And those following the love and hate relationship between, or the hate and hate relationship between Facebook and Google, know that it's bothering Google that they can't get into Facebook, and Facebook is doing everything possible to not let Google get into it. So I just found this little breadcrumb about the fact that Google got into Facebook and pulled that out and is displaying it in the search engine result page. Interesting. Next, okay, is there another core update? Webmaster World on June 18th, it started. Everybody started complaining about I dropped my ranking. What's happening? Is there another core update? Well, if I look at the weather of Google, is there a lot of agitation in the SERPs? Again, I remind everyone that the show notes include all the links. SEOConspiracy.com, all the links that, if you're listening in the audio podcast, I make sure to describe everything to make it clear for you. And it doesn't matter, audio or video, you can access all the show notes with the links. It doesn't look like Google is having a big splash. There is some tools are indeed showing a little increase, a little spike, but nothing like crazy, okay? Nothing like what happened on June 10th, or nothing like what happened earlier in May. But still, it's moving. Now, can you call it a core update again? Come on, I'm looking at you. Please stop. Stop this insanity of every time Google is shaking up the SERP, calling it a core update. We discussed that extensively with Dixon Jones. Check out the video about how to reverse engineer Google algorithm. It's mostly machine learning patterns, and even not machine learning. It's like deep learning, or they would like to call it artificial intelligence. But that's the way it goes. Deep learning, then around deep learning, machine learning, and eventually around that evolves the concept of artificial intelligence. But the fact that the SERP's weather check is moving up and down, and the fact that the SERPs are changing is part of how this machine learning, deep learning thing works, okay? It's doing things that are just agitating, trying to make Google a better spot to return information, relevant information. And it's also a fact that it's not working very well right now. The move towards 100% Internet of Things instead of the old school Google is not very reliable, scalable, and it lost a lot of granularity. Therefore, they made a change at the head of Google. If you followed last week's news, it's a big change. So I believe the new vision is going to be simplified, is going to be more robust, is going to be more integrated. So a lot of changes are coming. Lots. And of course, some are going to win, some are going to lose. All I know is everything that Google is doing is consolidating my way of doing things. Every move, every update, we are going further towards what I'm preaching. So yeah, way to go. All good. Just again, follow what I do, study, spy on me, listen to what I have to say, and you should definitely improve. For sure. It's working. Okay, on Reddit, what are the black hat techniques you know of that you think many SEO beginners might be doing without knowing about it? And out of all the answers, in my opinion, none of them nailed it. They mostly talk about link building, okay? One is even saying all link building is black hat. Another one is talking about the 5 risky black hat SEO techniques: paid links, duplicate content, article spinning, keyword stuffing, invisible text. In my opinion, the best case scenario of black hat SEO without your knowledge for a beginner is spam indexing. It's not doing spammy link building. Might be, okay, you buy like a $150 blast of backlinks. That works, that doesn't work, up to you to experiment. Or watch my video about PBN. But spam indexing is very common. If I look back, it's reverse from what we used to do back in the days where we needed to help website index better. We need to help the websites to be optimized for the search engine. Nowadays, it's totally reverse, meaning the websites index too well. There are too many pages. You overbuild, okay? You overbuild pages, overbuild content. So, and it's not really duplicate content. It's more what I would call spam indexing. For example, if you decide to index your tags, your search engine, internal search engine results, it might be never ending. I'm actually right now following a client. Okay, we have to do they have to change domain, and yeah, the website has big issues about spam indexing around the tags. I can't finish crawling the website. It's never ending. Tags are just auto building themselves. Yes, that's, in my opinion, the number one SEO, black hat SEO technique that you are doing without your knowledge. The whole link building aspect of it, more or less shady. Yeah, it's just whatever. I spoke about it last week. I'm not gonna speak about it at every news, but yes, if you follow the Google guidelines, I can guarantee that you're not gonna achieve results. If you don't promote your content, Again, if you don't promote your content, it won't work. You're always buying links, one way or another. It might not be a financial, okay, might not be giving money to someone to put a link somewhere, but if you do the job, you're going to be framing a scenario that will get that person to put the link, okay? Because one way or another, you gotta do the work. Just putting out content and waiting for the magic to happen does not work. And the people who communicate at Google, they don't know what they're talking about. They've never done it. I've done it. Dixon Jones has done it. Christine, Judith, Bill, all the people who were nice to believe in what I'm starting here on SEO Conspiracy. They're all really high-class content marketers, but they also know the job about SEO, and none of them will buy links, but they are very good at creating a scenario in which you would be motivated or suggested to talk about what they do and eventually build a link to what they do. Okay, let's move on. Bill. Thank you, Bill, for really everything you've done, because again, this is a new patent. A well-formed query helps search engines understand user intent in the query. Might seem obvious. Yes, a well-formed query helps a search engine understand user intent behind a query. Simple. But remember that Google and any search engine is pretty dumb. It doesn't understand things like we do. It doesn't have a brain like we do. And you gotta make things pretty clear about what you are searching for if you want to improve the results. Furthermore, this pattern has something interesting because this is one of the rare times where we see popping up the people also search type of answers on the search engine result page. So yes, very, very interesting. And again, this move is consolidating. I'm telling you, it's a joy. It's amazing. Everything I see is telling me that I'm right. News after news, week after week, month after month, years after years. And it's been since 2004 and that I started, and that I worked on this topical mesh thing since 2007. I really started to put it out there and do it. And 2012 is when I told it to the world, actually, the French world. Since then, it's been a crazy ride because it works. It works. EAT on Moz, EAT. You've heard it before. Is it actually a ranking factor or not? No, it's not. And this is pure clickbait. Because if you're interested a little bit in the thing, I mean, there's no point saying again that, and I'm guilty, Dixon and we've spoke about it, and Serious Shepard, you're right to tell you truth about it. We'll never be able to tell it enough. But at the end of the day, people believe what they want, I guess. And the way I see it is, it might not be, and it's definitely not a ranking factor, but it's also the goal. Okay? How do you, for Google, how do you evaluate expertise, authority, and trust? Again, it's a robot, it's an algorithm, it's not human, it can't judge things like we do. And the way I think EAT is the new SEO triptych. Listen up. The usual old school SEO triptych is technical, content, and popularity. Okay, technical, content, popularity. Now, expertise. Instead of content, open up a blog and put out some content, or put out some content at the bottom of your product page or category page. Expertise. Are you an expert, and can you prove your expertise in a interesting fashion? Be informative, be humoristic, be whatever you want, but are you able to prove, to make a point about how much you know? And that's a different ballgame than just, content. Authority. Are people influent in your industry talking about you, including your competition? That's a whole different level than popularity, build links. Okay? Are you really an authority in your domain? That's what I'm offering you to come with me, spy on me on this journey of becoming the authority in my field in the English language. I've done it in French. I'm starting over in English. Please come watch me. Subscribe to the newsletter, SEOConspiracy.com. The newsletter, that's where it's all going to happen. On top of course, whatever you see here or what I'm going to build on in SEO, but my personal journal, step by step, the documentation of my journey is going to happen in the newsletter. And T of trust, that's also another level from the technical SEO audit. Because trust is, can I trust your website? Do you welcome the visitors with a speedy, good UX? Do you have a Trojan horse hidden somewhere on your server? Can we trust you? Okay, that's a whole different level than just do a SEO audit. Next, BackMarket, at least in France, has been the talk in the SEO industry, because that website, BackMarket.com, starting to pop up in the search engine result page. And here is Nicolas, who is a student of mine, working for Systric. Thanks actually, Nicolas, for the account, because I'm actually testing out the tool and I will do a review soon. Actually, I'm going to do a podcast with Nicolas, but I think that's going to be in French. Unless he speaks English, I don't know. I'll got to ask him. And he's analyzing BackMarket.fr from a technical point of view, and also from a structural, how the site is made out, and also what is the semantic or the smell, especially around telephone, mobile phone. BackMarket is about selling refurbished goods, and they specialize into this whole smartphone refurbish market. And the analysis shows that, yes, the structure is pretty neat, and they build a whole lexical or semantic field around smartphone in France. Now, I'm going to show you a little more than what we can learn in this study. I'm going to show you how you can analyze very easily. And even if you are listening to the podcast in audio form, it's going to make sense. Because if I take the website and I put it through my friend's tool, all the tools I recommend are on FrenchTouchSEO.com. Though this is the topical mesh family, these are the best tools in the world. And SEMI.com does amazing visualization. That was the first tool in the history of the universe of SEO doing this kind of visualization. Some other tools picked up. But before SEMI.com, we had Jeffy on Java. That wasn't fun. So you see that, or you hear, I can explain to you that the site apparently worked out some siloing, and even extreme siloing. And if you look at the social accounts of SEO Conspiracy, especially Instagram and Twitter, I share a lot of this visualization, which I comment. So by now, you can, and I'll share also this visualization where you see that, yeah, it's not as messy as the usual type of website with what I call thin content, or the weak, no, let's call it weak content, because that has nothing to do with the number of words on the page. What I call weak content is your content is pretty much the same than all the other ones. That's also something that I teach in the whole topical mesh concept, is how to smell the SERP, the footprint, the perfume, whatever Google is telling you on the SERP. And on those type of queries, well, all the websites are the same. They all show that product page or that category. And yes, you don't want to read the history of the iPhone when you want to buy a refurbished iPhone. So I would not advise to go that route, like some people do. They misunderstand the topical mesh. At the core of the topical mesh, the intent, we start with that. We start with the intent. So you can obviously try to approach that SERP with a Wikipedia-esque type of, whatever you want, with a lot of words optimized for the query, and you might trump the search engine, but the user is not gonna like it. But now, if you are BackMarket, and I'm very happy that this study came along, because I don't share examples about my clients. I respect their privacy. I respect the NDA. But if BackMarket was my client, that's pretty much what I would have done. Look at the one element that nobody is looking at. And again, if you follow my strategy of the topical mesh, the goal is to build a pie of analytics in 3/3. 1/3 is popularity, 1/3 comes from keywords on the search engine and Google in particular, 1/3 from referrals, meaning people talking about you, not just to build a backlink for PageRank sake, but also recommending, spreading the word and sending you high value qualified traffic. That's the hardest part to work out. Notoriety. And the last part is authority, building a brand. If you are able to have this pie of in 3/3 popularity, authority, notoriety, you won. That's what I'm going to teach you. And if you go into Google Trends and if you enter BackMarket, well, guess what? In France, for the last 5 years, you definitely see that BackMarket, all attached, BackMarket or Backspace Market, both have increasing search throughout the past five years since launch. So that means that the brand, the branding has also a strong impact. And that's something that SEOs miss very often. Look up if there's some branding done, because that's very often not for me. Again, that's at the base of my strategy. 1/3 of the traffic needs to be built on branding. And remember, I don't know if I told you or not. Yeah, I think I've told you if you follow me. I come from branding, from marketing, PR, since 1994. So it's been a long time. And of course, I believe in the power of a brand. And not just creating a silly concept. I don't create the topical mesh just to sound cool. No. This is a real deep down idea. If I look up BackMarket, the data from Majestic and SEMrush, I'm using SEO Observer by my friend Kevin, which aggregates SEMrush and Majestic plus its own data. And it's really a nice dashboard to see that, yes, net linking, link building has been done. There's a big spike in traffic on SEMrush, but that also correlates with an upgrade of the database from SEMrush, so not really relevant. But what we can see is, well, just good old link building. From October 15th, 131 referring domains until today, 10 times more, over 1,000 referring domains. It's just been a regular increase with a couple of downs, but all the steps are there to build a really strong offsite link profile. And I think they even missed out the boat on a couple of things. If I search for BackMarket in Google News, for example, I'm going to find let's search for actually BackMarket.fr. Let's be more specific because I want to see something. If I look, okay, they got links on some press sites, but I'm sure they forgot some. I'm sure, 100%. Okay, here's a link again. So maybe they're even better than I think. Maybe they even worked out the links. Okay, I found one, and this is a good link. This is a link from France 3, which is a TV, TV, French TV. And if I were the SEO from BackMarket, I would look closely at those pages, especially those strong authority websites that mention my site but don't build a link. I'm not saying this is good, not good. Just mentioning the brand works. It's part of what I'm doing. But when I see on a really nice page like this that the Ahref, that the backlink is missing, I want to cry. That's a waste. Dude, go to work. Get links. Now, let's look. I want to show you under the hood how they worked out. And if you're listening to the podcast in audio, what you're going to do is go on backmarket.fr and you can click on the category smartphones. And then what you see on the left, what you're going to see on the left is a big mega menu that's a big semantic click where towards everything else. This has to go. So look up the source code, and if you search for tous nos produits, TOUS, you're gonna find that this whole menu is not there. Okay, it's a big. It takes a bunch of lines, but there is nothing to see. No leaks, no semantic leaks. That's extreme soloing. That's why I explained previously, and I'm going to explain again and over again. I got many clients with this type of website with what I call weak content, where extreme siloing made the difference. If you have strong content, high value content, different than the others, and content that give Google what it wants, then the reasonable surfer is able to extract, to sort out all the links from, for example, the menu, the footer, everything, and concentrate on the links within the content. But if your content is weak, like this website, extreme siloing, the most basic version of my strategy of the topical mesh, I mean the topical mesh applied to thematic siloing, is the way to go. It works. Strong link building plus extreme siloing on weak content websites works very, very well. Here's the proof. Way to go, Jihad et Jilali. I think you are the SEO. And good job. I don't know you. You probably know me or my work. Otherwise, I'd be very surprised, because what you've done is exactly, or you study my my clients without knowing that they're my clients, because that's a good case study about what I would advise to do to one of my clients with this type of website. And a lot of them are ranking on this type of search. Okay, Walid, that's a guy I know very well, and I helped him out at the beginning, over 10 years ago. That's, wow. So the question is from Mathieu, another friend, who is asking, how do you crawl a website by ignoring the links from, for instance, menu and footer, without, like, before you actually want to make them disappear to do extreme selling? So how to simulate a crawl from a different angle that what we do with SEMI or Visiblis, meaning that you can say, okay, you take out this type of pages based on the URL and the patterns in the URL. Here's different. It is about where is that link located in the code. I want to take it out. So Walid shared a little script. And what's very cool about this community is that another friend, Nick, took the script, took the code and built a website. You go to crawl.seo-jedi.com and you can have your free custom crawl. So you enter the site, you enter the CSS attributes where you want to, the CSS attributes, setting, okay, the for example, the navigation, the footer, or whatever you want to take out. You can even decide on a user agent, and you simulate the crawl. That's cool. That's free. That's deserves to exist, and I think this path is interesting, but it's lacking somewhere if you really want to do the proper job, which we do with the tools on FrenchSEO.com. Because you remove the menus, you remove the footer, meaning you also remove content. You don't only remove the links, but whatever words are on those spots are very important. They need to be taken into account. So that's very cool. That's because especially if you want to demonstrate something to a client, that makes sense. But know that it's flawed. It's missing. You need to, Nick or Walid, you need to take also the words. You can't just remove this whole part of the website, because the words on top of the links are part of the content. Okay, let's move on. Almost done. Indexing services. Okay, you know, back then you could ping Google bot and it would come. Now, what about if you got a very crappy website with a lot of pages and you suck at internal linking, you don't know how to do the topical mesh? How does that work? How can you make Google index your tons of URL? You could go one by one in the Search Console. That's my advice. But it could be a little bit tedious. It could be a little bit hard if you got tons of, if you are borderline into spam indexing and then you want to feed Google tons of URL. Well, it seems like none of those services except one work. And this guy, Gengis Khan, tried them all. The thread is old, but it saw an update lately, and it seems that still the only service doing a good job is speed-links.net. I don't know these guys. I've never tried this service because I do the topical mesh. Even in the Black Hat SEO version, like all automated, full automated websites, including the content and the links, I don't need to use the service to index the pages. It's the crawler visits everything. Internal linking, you are sitting on a hidden treasure, and you don't even know. By wasting your internal linking, you might have to use one of those services. But I thought that was interesting. Let me know if you have another trick, or if you know another service to index crappy pages quick. Okay, let's finish with a quick YouTube announce storefront video format with a twist, meaning that it's going to be easier to go from a YouTube ad down to a shop. How are they going to do that? Well, that's what they're trying very hard to do with YouTube ads. Is a difficult game, and I believe that Google YouTube owned by Google, of course, is really trying to do something with as far as ads on YouTube. They're really trying hard. They've been trying hard for years, and it's just one move. It's interesting. Like I said last week, search is search. I don't care if it's paid, if it's ads, if it's organic. This is part of the game, and you got to jump on those type of things first, because once everybody else gets on it, it's wasted. You got 6 months to a year time frame to enjoy this type of features. So go now, like today. This is the end of the news. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Talk to you soon.